Courage is not something we are born with. It is something we build brick by brick through the struggles we face. We often think of courage as the absence of fear, but in reality, courage cannot exist without fear. It is forged in the moments when everything in us wants to run, hide, or quit. Yet we take one more step forward. It is not about being fearless. It is about feeling the fear, acknowledging the uncertainty, and choosing to show up anyway. The struggle itself becomes the training ground for resilience, shaping us into people who are not just strong, but deeply rooted in our purpose. Struggle is a refining fire, revealing who we are at our core. When life is easy, we do not have to stretch, we do not have to question, and we do not have to grow. But when we face resistance, when things become uncomfortable, when we experience failure, when our confidence is shaken, that is when we are given the opportunity to cultivate true courage. It is easy to be brave when the path is clear. But real courage is stepping into the unknown, walking through the storm without knowing when the skies will clear. There is a common belief that people who are courageous were simply born that way. But if you look at any person who has done something extraordinary, you will find that they did not start with courage. They developed it by doing hard things over and over again. Every great leader, artist, and trailblazer has a story of struggle, of moments when they wanted to give up but didn't. Their courage wasn't handed to them. It was built in the trenches of self-doubt, rejection, and setbacks. They became courageous by choosing to persist, to learn from failure, and to keep going when giving up seemed easier. The struggle itself is not the enemy, it is the teacher. We often resist hard things because they make us feel exposed, vulnerable, and uncertain. But if we shift our perspective, we begin to see struggle as a tool that strengthens us. When we push through the fear, we develop a new level of self-trust. When we embrace discomfort, we expand our capacity for resilience. And when we step into challenges willingly, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than we once believed. Every difficulty we face is an invitation to grow, to rise, and to become the person we were meant to be. One of the greatest myths we tell ourselves is that courage is something we have to wait for. We say things like, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I'll take the leap when I have more confidence. But the truth is, courage is not something that arrives before we take action. It is something that grows because we take action. It is only by stepping into the struggle that we build the muscle of bravery. If we wait for the fear to go away, we will be waiting forever. The only way to become courageous is to do the hard thing first, even when our hands are shaking and our hearts are racing. Think of the moments in your life when you have felt the most proud of yourself. They were likely not the moments of ease and comfort, but the moments when you faced something difficult and overcame it. Maybe it was standing up for yourself in a tough conversation. Maybe it was taking a leap of faith in your career. Maybe it was showing up for someone else when you were struggling yourself. Courage does not come from staying where it is safe. It comes from walking through the fire and realizing that you are still standing on the other side. So the next time you find yourself facing something hard, remember this: the struggle is not a roadblock. It is the way forward. It is the gym where courage is built, the battlefield where resilience is tested, and the journey where character is shaped. Lean into it. Do not resist it. Let it do its work in you. One day, you will look back and realize that what once felt impossible is now part of your strength. Courage is not a destination. It is a practice. It is built in the everyday moments of choosing bravery over comfort, perseverance over ease, and resilience over retreat. The struggle may not be easy, but it is always worth it. And when you come out on the other side stronger and more courageous than before, you will see that the fight was never against the struggle itself. It was against the belief that you were not capable of overcoming it. And you were. You always were. Fear and doubt have a way of showing up right when we're about to step into something important. They whisper questions that shake our confidence. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't belong here? Too often, we mistake these voices for warning signs, signals telling us to stop, turn back, or wait until we feel more certain. But fear and doubt are not stop signs. They are mile markers on the road of growth, proof that we are moving towards something that matters. If we let them dictate our choices, we will stay in the same safe, familiar space forever, comfortable, but never fulfilled. We have this idea that confident people don't feel fear, that they wake up every morning sure of themselves, unshaken by uncertainty, ready to take on the world. But confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the result of walking through it. Every person who has ever done something meaningful has felt fear. Every leader, every artist, every innovator has battled self-doubt. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is not whether or not they feel fear, it's what they choose to do with it. Fear, at its core, is a protector. It is wired into us to keep us safe, to warn us of danger. But in today's world, fear is no longer just about life or death situations. It shows up when we're about to speak up in a meeting, when we're pursuing a dream, when we're trying something new. It tells us to stay where it's safe, where we won't risk failure or rejection. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. Playing it safe might keep us from falling, but it also keeps us from soaring. If we always listen to fear, we will never know what we're capable of. Doubt, too, can feel like a reason to stop. When we question ourselves, am I good enough? Am I ready? We assume that those doubts must mean we are on the wrong path. But doubt is not a sign of inadequacy. It is a sign that we care. If we did not care, we would not question ourselves. If we did not dream big, we would not wonder if we are capable. Doubt is a natural part of stepping into something new. It is not proof that we are unqualified. It is proof that we are human, and the only way to quiet doubt is to move forward in spite of it. Think about the moments in your life when you have felt fear and pushed through it. Maybe it was the first time you spoke in public, the first time you stepped into a leadership role, the first time you said yes to an opportunity that scared you. Fear did not disappear before you took action. You acted, and only then did confidence begin to grow. The more we walk through fear, the more we realize that it is not as powerful as it seems. It loses its grip the moment we stop letting it control our choices. The truth is, the presence of fear and doubt often means we are exactly where we are supposed to be. When we feel resistance, it usually means we are standing on the edge of something important. Fear shows up when we are about to grow. Doubt creeps in when we are stretching beyond what we once believed possible. Instead of seeing them as signs to stop, what if we saw them as signs to keep going? What if, instead of turning back, we leaned in and did the hard thing anyway? Fear and doubt will always be part of the journey, but they do not get to drive. We get to choose whether we let them paralyze us or propel us forward. The next time fear whispers that you are not enough, remind yourself that fear is not a fact. It is a feeling. The next time doubt tells you to wait until you're ready, remind yourself that ready is not a requirement for action. The only way to build courage is to move forward in the presence of fear, not in its absence. So do not wait for fear and doubt to disappear before you take the leap. They may never fully go away, but they do not have to. Their presence is not a stop sign. It is simply proof that you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. And that is worth pushing through. We live in a world that tells us strength looks like having it all together, being unshaken, unbothered, and always in control. We are taught to wear armor, to hide our struggles, to present a version of ourselves that looks polished and put together. But real strength doesn't come from perfection or invincibility. It comes from the willingness to be seen, to be real, to stand in our truth, even when it feels risky. Vulnerability is not weakness. In fact, it is the greatest proof of strength we can offer. Think about the moments that have moved you the most. Stories of people overcoming adversity, moments of raw honesty, acts of deep courage. They are never about people who had it all figured out. They are about people who opened their hearts, who spoke the truth when it was easier to stay silent, who admitted their fears and kept going anyway. Vulnerability is the bridge that connects us. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we all wrestle with fear, doubt, and struggle. And when we allow ourselves to be seen, we give others permission to do the same. But vulnerability is not easy. It asks us to step into the unknown, to risk rejection, to let go of control. It is terrifying to open up, to admit when we are struggling, to ask for help when we need it. We fear that if people see the real us, the messy, imperfect, unfinished parts, they might not accept us. So we put up walls. We hide behind perfectionism, busyness, or avoidance. We tell ourselves that if we can just be strong enough, we won't have to feel the discomfort of being vulnerable. But the truth is, avoiding vulnerability does not protect us. It isolates us. Real strength is not found in the illusion of having it all together. It is found in the courage to be real. It is in the willingness to have hard conversations, to share our struggles, to admit when we don't have all the answers. It is in the decision to show up fully even when we feel unworthy or uncertain. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are the ones who get back up, who own their story, who refuse to let shame or fear dictate their lives. Vulnerability is also the birthplace of connection. We cannot build deep relationships if we are constantly pretending. If we only show the parts of ourselves that feel safe, we will never experience the depth of true belonging. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with authenticity. When we let down our guard, when we allow ourselves to be fully seen, we invite others to do the same. And in that space of honesty and courage, real relationships are formed. Many of us have been taught that vulnerability is a liability, that it will be used against us, that it makes us weak. But if we look at the most powerful leaders, the most inspiring figures, the people who truly make a difference, they are the ones who embrace vulnerability. They lead with honesty. They admit when they are wrong. They are not afraid to say, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to learn. This is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. Vulnerability also unlocks growth. When we avoid it, we stay stuck. We stay in relationships that don't fulfill us, jobs that don't challenge us, and patterns that keep us small. But when we step into vulnerability, we open ourselves to possibility. We dare to dream bigger, to try new things, to take risks, even when we don't know the outcome. It is only when we are willing to be uncomfortable that we can truly grow into who we were meant to be. So if you have been holding back, afraid to show your true self, afraid to speak your truth, afraid to let yourself be seen, know this: vulnerability is not your weakness. It is your superpower. It will stretch you, challenge you, and at times it will be uncomfortable. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom. Strength is not in the hiding, it is in the revealing. And when you stand fully in who you are, without apology, you will discover a strength greater than you ever imagined. When we think about success, we often imagine a single life-changing moment, a breakthrough that shifts everything in an instant. We love the idea of overnight success, of sudden transformations, of leaps that take us from where we are to where we want to be in one bold move. But the truth is, real success is rarely about giant leaps. It is built on the small, consistent steps we take every single day. The people who achieve great things do not get there by accident. They get there by choosing to show up even when progress feels slow, even when the results are not immediate, even when the finish line is nowhere in sight. We underestimate the power of small actions. When we take one step forward and don't see instant results, we assume it didn't matter. When we put in effort and don't feel like we're moving fast enough, we question whether we're on the right path. But progress is often invisible in the beginning. Seeds are planted long before we see them bloom. A single workout won't make us fit, but months of small daily efforts will transform our health. One act of kindness won't change the world, but a lifetime of them will leave a legacy. Every major breakthrough is simply the result of small, persistent actions compounded over time. The problem is we want change to feel dramatic. We want progress to be obvious. But growth is often quiet. It happens in the small decisions we make when no one is watching. It happens in the discipline of showing up even when it's inconvenient. It happens in choosing courage over comfort, persistence over ease, faith over fear. We don't always see it happening, but every small step we take is moving us closer to the breakthrough we desire. Think about any great achievement in history. Behind every invention, every masterpiece, every extraordinary success, there is a long, often unseen journey of small steps. Writers don't finish books in a single day. They write a little bit every day until the pages add up. Athletes don't wake up champions. They train day after day, long before anyone knows their name. Businesses don't become successful overnight. They grow through years of effort, failure, and persistence. The breakthrough moment may feel sudden, but the work leading up to it is anything but. One of the biggest obstacles to success is the belief that if we're not making huge progress, we're not making progress at all. This mindset keeps us stuck. We think that because we can't do everything, we shouldn't do anything. But the truth is, the small things matter. The small things become the big things. A single step may not seem like much, but 1,000 small steps will take us farther than one giant leap ever could. We also have to embrace the idea that progress is rarely linear. Some days we will feel like we're moving forward, other days we will feel stuck or even like we're going backward. That is part of the journey. The important thing is not to stop. Even when we don't feel like it, even when motivation fades, even when we are discouraged, if we keep taking small steps, we will get there. The key is consistency, not perfection. Success is not about never falling. It is about always getting back up. The small steps we take today create the future we want tomorrow. If we want to be healthier, we start with one small habit. If we want to grow in our career, we take one small action. If we want to build stronger relationships, we start with one small intentional effort. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan, we simply begin. One step today, another tomorrow. Slowly, steadily, we build momentum. And before we know it, we have arrived at the breakthrough we once thought was impossible. So whatever you are working toward, whatever dream feels too big, whatever goal seems too far away, remember this. You do not have to do everything all at once. You just have to take the next small step. Keep showing up, keep moving forward, keep believing that even when progress is slow, it is still progress. One day you will look back and realize that the small steps you took every day led you exactly where you were meant to be. We often chase success with a single focus, reaching the goal. We tell ourselves that once we achieve this milestone, once we reach that position, once we finally get there, we will feel fulfilled. But what if the real reward is not in the achievement itself, but in the person we become along the way? What if the greatest victory is not crossing the finish line, but the strength, wisdom, and resilience we gain through the journey? Society measures success by results, titles, awards, accomplishments. But the truth is, the external reward is never as fulfilling as we imagine it to be. How many times have we thought, once I get that job, I'll be happy? Or once I reach this goal, everything will feel right, only to find ourselves still searching for something more. That's because the goal itself is never the real prize. The real prize is the transformation that happens as we push through the struggle, overcome the setbacks, and grow into a stronger, wiser version of ourselves. Think about the most meaningful moments in your life. Were they the easy ones? The ones that required no effort, no sacrifice? Probably not. The moments that shape us the most are the ones that demand courage. The ones where we had to dig deep, where we had to keep going when it would have been easier to quit. It's not the achievement that changes us. It's the process of becoming someone who can achieve it. Every obstacle we face, every challenge we overcome, every time we choose perseverance over giving up, we are shaping our character. We often believe that success is about what we get at the end, but real success is about who we become in the process. The struggle, the failures, the moments of doubt, they are not distractions from the goal. They are the goal. Because in those moments, we build resilience, we learn patience, we discover strengths we didn't know we had. And by the time we reach the finish line, we realize that the real reward is not just the achievement itself, but the transformation we underwent to get there. Many people achieve their goals only to feel unfulfilled. They reach the top of the mountain and realize they still don't feel complete. Why? Because if we only focus on what we accomplish and not who we are becoming, success will always feel hollow. But if we focus on growing, learning, and evolving, the fulfillment comes not just from the destination, but from every step we took to get there. The real reward is the confidence we build, the wisdom we gain, and the strength we develop along the way. This is why shortcuts never truly satisfy. If we get something too easily, we don't appreciate it the same way. A person who works for years to build a business values it differently than someone who inherits wealth overnight. A person who has fought through failure to succeed carries a different kind of confidence than someone who is handed success without struggle. The effort, the growth, the persistence, that's what gives success its meaning. It's not about getting there as quickly as possible. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle the responsibility and the weight of success once they arrive. So if you find yourself discouraged because your goal still feels far away, shift your perspective. Instead of asking, how long until I get there? Ask, who am I becoming in this process? Because that is the real measure of success. The perseverance you are building right now will serve you long after this goal is reached. The discipline you are developing will prepare you for opportunities you can't even see yet. The confidence you are gaining will shape every decision you make in the future. You are not just working toward a goal, you are building a foundation for the rest of your life. At the end of the day, success is never just about the achievement, it's about the transformation. The reward is not the trophy, the title, or the accomplishment. It's the person you become in pursuit of it. And that is something no one can take away from you.